I first played Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4, Turtles in Time, but after learning of more TMNT beat-em-ups, besides Shredder's Revenge, I just had to get them and see if they were any good. Given they were locked to the Nintendo Entertainment System, or NES for short, I had low hopes of them actually being any good. I never really cared for the NES. I found it too primitive and boring. The graphics sucked and the sound effects were not much better than the Atari 2600. Heck, even the controllers were awful. But I still endured and found myself enjoying Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game, despite some gripes that I have with it. The plot of the game is Shredder kidnaps April and you must save her. Then you defeat Krang and Shredder and that's the end. But along the way you'll encounter a large variety of enemies, hazards, and bosses. But also tons of frustration. Good lord, was this game clearly an arcade game first and foremost. Every time you hit the enemy, they get to hit you back. So you'll always take damage from every enemy encounter. There's tons of hazards like wrecking balls, manhole covers, holes in the ground themselves that damage you, ice blocks falling from the sky, and good old spike barriers, like in the sewer surfing section of TMNT 4, that can trap you into a death loop. The first level takes place at April's apartment, which is on fire. You fight tons of Foot Clan ninjas galore till you make it to her apartment. Here we face the first boss, Rocksteady. After defeating him and just standing there watching Shredder take April, cause plot reasons, we make our way through the city streets, dodging manhole covers, and fighting Bebop. Real quick, we're going to cover the controls. Use the D-pad to move around, the B button to jump, and the A button to attack. If you combine the two, you can do a special attack. Or if you jump then attack, you can do a jump attack. And that's all there is to it. There's no blocking, there's no combos or variety. You can't throw the enemies at the screen or anything. It's very, very basic. Very, very stripped down from the arcade. But hey, if you could get past the highly repetitive, mind-numbingly droll combat and just enjoy the fact that it's a TMNT game, you will have a fun time. But that doesn't mean you won't also be frustrated as hell, which we'll cover in a little bit. Of course, it's TMNT, so we need to go into the sewers. No! Here, we face the annoying little biter bots that are hard to hit, and several Foot Clan members. In the end, we make it to Baxter in human form, and he loves to drop those little biter droids. So you keep jump kicking him till he dies. This is one of the more annoying bosses, because you can only hit him this way, and due to the perspective, it can be kinda hard to be precise with your attacks. And the hitboxes seem to be all over the place. Sometimes you do hit him, sometimes you don't. But he will guarantee to always hit you, especially for those little droids. So yes, it's a very annoying battle, and those little bots don't help. God, those guys are annoying. Exclusive to the NES version apparently, according to research for this game I did, the next level is unique to this version of the game. Being a snowy park as Baxter unleashed the Weather Dominator or whatever, and there are a lot of annoying snowmen robots, Foot Clan, and falling ice blocks to keep putting you into the cold, cold ground. Eventually, you get to the unique boss of this level, Tora, and he is a cheap shot motherfucker. Now we move on to finishing off Baxter in mutant form, fighting our way through the parking garage. The level is overall meh, and of course there's some traps here, which you can easily avoid by jumping onto the other part of the platform. And I always hate how in these games, all these hazards only affect you. It doesn't hurt the enemy. Why can't the enemy be zapped? Why can't the enemy be crushed? Why can't the enemy fall through a hole in the ground? Why is it only the turtles that get hurt? That's stupid. So yeah, while the level has some issues with that, the boss itself isn't hard because you just fight off Baxter in his mutant form, and he goes down real easy. He's pretty much a little bitch.
You fuckers watching this sick shit. This is sickening.
But then we get to what I consider one of the worst parts of the game. The frickin' highway. A highway to hell. Here, you just keep moving and dodging Foot Clan bikes and cars, fighting tons of Foot Clan, and getting hit by giant tires. Damn, these guys must be strong to lift those giant things while looking like twigs. And then Splinter gets captured. 'Cause plot reasons. You know, the master and trainer of the Turtles, someone who can rival Shredder, gets captured by little robots. 'Cause plot reasons. Bullshit. We're reaching the home stretch, and let me tell you, the dojo is full of bullshit. We just got spike bars that put you into a death loop, and tiger paintings that come to life, and they just run all over the freaking place, making it hard to hit them, taking forever to beat them. These take several minutes, like good lord. You only fight one at a time, and they just zoom from left side to the right side of the screen. Once in a while they'll leap, and it's hard to hit them, but they can always hit you. They are the absolute worst enemy in the game. It took forever to beat them. But the boss is Shogun, who puts up a good fight, but is nothing special. In the end, he dies, and all that's left is like a lower body skeleton. Jesus Christ, this is TMT. You know, it's TMNT, not Adult Swim, but I like it. The last level is the traditional loads of bullshit experience. We go into the Technodrome with tons of cheap shots and deaths galore, tons of enemies that just won't stop coming, tons of hazards to dwindle what little lives you have left, and of course, they only hurt you, 'cause Konami. Thank God for cheat codes. Even Konami knew of this, and in the Cowabunga Collection, they included a God mode for this game, because they knew it was poorly designed. I absolutely was agitated beyond belief at this point. I was so ready to just quit the game. Hell, I didn't even know if this was the last level or not. I never played this game before. It felt like forever, with so little to the combat in comparison to TMNT 4 and Turtles in Time. That didn't help the game out either, but I endured. I fought and defeated Crane, who cheap-shotted non-stop, easily blocking and countering you and attacking you several times before you can get a single hit on him. But nothing compares to the last boss, Shredder. Oh dear God, was he a pain in the fucking ass.
He ain't lying.
Shredder is everything wrong with final bosses in games, especially in the arcade era. He keeps knocking you down, barely giving you any time to hit him once per life. He takes forever to defeat and he keeps splitting himself, so you gotta deal with 2 Shredders at once. And they do also love to spit roast you. Like, good God. This was so infuriating, but I stayed strong and finally defeated him after like freaking 10 minutes. It felt like, if not even longer. Then the Technodrome blows up with the credits rolling on by. I did it after a little over an hour of frustration, and thank God for infinite lives via Game Genie. I can say without a doubt, the game is just okay.
What?
At the end of the day, I do recommend Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game for Nintendo Entertainment System. Yeah, try saying that 10 times fast. Yeesh. It's got problems, but if you can get some cheat codes and a buddy to play with, you'll have more fun with it than alone and vanilla, as the game needs cheats to be beaten. Unless, you're some type of freak of nature that can do it no problem. But that's about it for this video. Time to move on to the other TMNT games in the future. So, see you guys all later.
Big Apple, 3 a.m.
When I was a little kid, my cousin and I used to play the Super Nintendo like crazy, but we would usually stick to select games that allow 2 players, especially 2 players at once, unlike Super Mario Bros. So we usually played Mortal Kombat trilogy of games, or that Zombies Ate My Neighbors game, and even Kirby Superstar, which is my favorite Kirby game to this day. But one game we never could beat nor get far in, no matter how hard we tried, was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4, Turtles in Time. This game was just on another level of difficult for us. We even stayed up past 3 a.m. one night just to try and beat it. Yet, it was a lost cause. Like ever hoping we'd see change in American politics by electing the little guys. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4, Turtles in Time was originally an arcade game, which shows in its levels of BS mechanics. No matter how hard you try, you will get hit, you will die, you will lose all your lives, you will waste all of your continues. I mean, it's the arcade after all. It's all about that quarter milking. Even home ports of arcade games still lack balance to accommodate the fact they're no longer arcade games, but home console games. So I decided I needed a cheat if I ever wanted to complete this game. So I just gave myself infinite lives with Game Genie.
Your intellect is as weak as your dollar. Failure is your destiny. You disrespect yourself and your nation. You are made of stupid.
The game is single player and 2 player only, even though there's 4 turtles. You can only select up to 2 if you have someone to play with. I don't, cause I'm a 29-year-old man who still plays video games. You think anyone wants to be associated with me?
You ain't lying.
So I played alone and chose the most popular and best turtle, Mikey. After that, it was time for Big Apple, 3 a.m., where you fight on a construction site full of Foot Clan ninjas. Crane's robot shows up to zap you, and there's an annoying wrecking ball trap. We'll quickly go over the controls in combat. You use the D-pad to move around, B to jump, and Y attacks. You can combine B and Y to do a special attack, which heats up your health, for some reason. Otherwise, you can jump then attack to just jump attack without the special to avoid losing life. Yeah, okay. You can throw enemies, but they need to be stunned first to throw them into the screen, a gimmick that's needed for a boss fight against Shredder later on. Double tapping the D-pad or holding the D-pad down in any direction that you want long enough will allow you to dash. If you're running, you can attack and that unleashes a shoulder ram. Then finally, while running, you can jump to slide. While the controls in combat are basic, they're pretty fun still to this day. Especially because it's easy, you can pull off moves without much of a hassle unlike other beat-em-ups. It plays very smooth too, unlike the Streets of Rage series. So you use all of these to fight through the Big Apple at 3 AM. Defeat the boss, which is Baxter, the scientist who got turned into a fly monster. Next up is Alley Cat Blues, where you fight through the streets during the daytime, using fire hydrants to blow away foot ninjas, and dodging manhole covers and manholes. But unlike in TMNT 2, I didn't notice if I was losing health or not from these manholes. From when you fall into them, I mean. I got stuck in one though at one point, thinking I'll need to reset the game, because when you move too far to the right, the camera will lock in so you can't move back to the left. So I got stuck in the manhole. It kept falling back into the manhole before the game decided, okay, we're gonna have you get out into the right side now so you're no longer stuck. Yeah, thanks. You'll fight Metalhead, a robotic ninja turtle, as the boss, before moving on to the sewer surfing, which is full of cheap shots and near impossible to avoid traps like the spike bars from the ceiling and spiky mines. My toe! My toe! We get to see the pizza monsters here and fight Rat King. Not one of my favorite levels, in fact it's my least favorite, next to the second and last surfing level later on. Next up is one of the best levels, Technodrome. Let's kick shell, with various Foot Clan ninjas and robots. Gotta hate these robots, they move fast and zap you easily. Also, ninjas vary in color to signify what their attacks are. The purple are your generic foot, blue usually uses various weapons depending on the level, from swords to the twin sai, yellow loves to throw bombs, then run off, orange throws knives, white uses nunchucks, you name it. This is a small detail that tells players how they'll need to fight each one and who is a priority. Eventually you'll fight Toka and Razar, who are my favorite villains simply because of the live-action movies I grew up with. After fighting them and taking an elevator, you'll face Shredder, who's in his little machine you must chuck ninjas at to do damage. This is easily one of the weakest fights in the game because of the view obstruction and how easy it tends to be. It's a mix of annoying and boring, but once defeated, he sends the Turtles throughout history and face several more villains along the way.
Prehistoric Turtlesaurus.
Now you'll go through various time periods starting with BC, with ninjas and dinosaurs. This level is where me and my cousin would get stuck and never beat no matter how hard we tried. But I'm an adult now, and I can say it's not that challenging, except the dinosaur stampede is a pain, and the boss, Slash, is a cheap-shotting bitch. Like seriously, this guy is so unbalanced, always hitting you and blocking your attacks, it took forever to beat him. Now I remember why we never could beat this level. Slash is one of the worst bosses in gaming, just because of his cheapness. Seriously, he takes forever. This is definitely a part of the game in the arcade where you would be putting in a lot of quarters. But after kicking his ass, I was sent to pirate time. This level is boring and not interesting to me, as I was never huge into pirates growing up, even though I was pretty young when the Pirates of the Caribbean became a thing. Also, the boards on the ship can come up and hit you, and only you. In fact, every single hazard and trap is only harmful to the player. Bullshit. But after fighting non-stop Foot Clan members, I was greeted by the well-known Rocksteady and Bebop, dressed up like pirates. They were pretty easy, so we're now moving on to the 1800s with a train level. Oh boy, G-Man Lives will proclaim this his favorite level for sure. That guy is so easy to win over. Just toss a train level into a game, and it's automatically good with him. So you fight through the train as ninjas ride horses to jump onto it and wear sombreros waiting for you to come towards them, with the boss being an alligator or a crocodile or whatever. I never watched the original TV show, so I don't know who this guy is. Is he original, or is he part of the show's original run? Can someone who's a boomer tell me who this guy is?
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
After that, we get to the last surfing level, which is just awful. I hate it. Full of so many cheap shots and hard to hit enemies due to the perspective at play. But thankfully in the end, we get a decent boss fight against Crane and his robot, which is easy surprisingly. Now we're at the home stretch. Only 2 more levels to go. Next we're sent into the future to fight Crane on a planet Starbase? Fighting various Foot Clan robots, dodging laser traps, and then fighting Crane as Shredder watches. Crane isn't easy nor fun. He's cheap, and takes barely any damage and dodges your attacks. But unlike Slash, can be avoided yourself without getting locked into a stun after each attack quickly draining your life. You'll eventually drop these annoying robots that shoot zapping rings at you. They're not easy to dispatch as they move so fast and have tiny hitboxes. He'll keep spamming these as you try to sap away at his own health, but eventually Crane is defeated once and for all, with a portal opening in the TV screen, so we can go and face Shredder for one final battle.
Technodrome, the final shell shock.
Out of all the bosses, I'll say I was disappointed in Shredder. He's the easiest boss, which isn't how the final boss works. But still, he does have his moments with fire surrounding him, so you can't damage him anymore, and he throws fire at you. But compared to TMNT 2, the arcade game for NES, this guy's a total pushover. This guy makes Shredder from that game look like a Dark Souls boss. But after beating this guy, I was given the middle finger by the game, cause I didn't beat it on hard. Wait, what? What? It's one of those games, huh? Well, that's fine. I won't bother. Though I've already beaten the game and seen everything it has to offer. Also, the ending isn't much different if you beat it on hard according to videos I looked up to see if I did miss anything, but nope. Still, I had fun, and glad I used an infinite lives cheat, otherwise this wouldn't be a possible review. This game is full of arcade BS mechanics, and genuine challenge, but mostly BS. Yet, that doesn't hold it back from being fun, and I can only imagine how much better the full arcade cabinet with 4 players would have been. At the end of the day, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4 Turtles in Time, yeah, try saying that 10 times fast, is an arcade classic that has a great port to console. The only con is it's not an easy game still because of its arcade roots. So if you play it, just remember you can use cheats or even better, just lower the difficulty. I only ever got as far as the dinosaur level as a kid with my cousin, but I'm glad to have finally finished the fight, even if I cheated. but the game cheats too, with its BS mechanics. It's all is fair in bullshit and war. Go play this game on any platform it's available on. It's a must play. So go ahead and play on the SNES, through an emulation, through like a Nintendo service, or even the Cowabunga Collection. Anyways, that's it for this video. See you all later. After finishing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game, and 4, Turtles in Time, I decided it was time to complete every Konami TMNT beat-em-up game. So we're back at the Nintendo Entertainment System for their last TMNT beat-em-up for the system. This is TMNT 3, The Manhattan Project. Essentially the same game as the last time, but with improved visuals and slight alteration to the combat that gives it just a bit more impact to keep combat from being too boring in comparison to the second game. So let's finish this up already and dive into TMNT 3, The Manhattan Project, starting with the plot. The story begins with the Turtles hanging out in Miami, Florida, enjoying their vacation when Shredder appears on the TV, having kidnapped April O'Neil, and has also taken the entirety of Manhattan from the Earth, hovering it above the sky, demanding the Turtles come and face him so he could probably dine on turtle soup, like he always says. Hey, you can't expect creativity from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles now. They're originally a comic book after all, and if there's one thing you gotta remember about comic books, is they are indeed the most creatively bankrupt form of entertainment out there. Just rehash upon rehash and cheap, lazy, uncreative loopholes to bring people back to life after they kill them off. Just in the previous issue, like some stupid amulet that revives them, or they find another Superman in an alternate universe. I'm so sick of it. I'm done with superheroes or comic books.
You fucking ashes! I am done! Yeah!
The game is basically the same experience all around like TMNT 2, the arcade game, except they did improve the combat by adding the ability to switch between the turtles when you lose a life. You can now toss enemies too, but only around the screen and not at it. That wasn't added till the 4th game on the Super Nintendo. Also, each turtle has their own special move. Leonardo can tornado spin with his 2 swords, Mikey can back leap kick, which is only useful against aerial enemies, Raphael can pull a Raiden with his leap forward spin attack, for Donnie, he can leap forward and swing his staff a few times. Doing these moves will drain your health and can get you killed, so don't abuse them. Unless you use infinite lives like I do, because this is an arcade game at heart, and as such, is full of all kinds of arcade BS mechanics. If you can beat this game without using cheats, you're a no-life who needs to touch grass and get some puss.
Got him!
The first level is composed of the beach and pier. You'll fight the basic purple ninjas, but also these buttholes that throw sand in your eyes as an attack. Okay, I like that. That's a nice little cheap shot. Fits in with the TMNT humor, I guess. There's nothing special about this level, except the orange ninjas like to crawl through the sand and jump out to ambush you. Also, the pier is falling apart, with many holes appearing for that classic trap. I mean, it's American architecture after all. Can't expect it to be durable. We're the Western Chinese quality when it comes to construction after all. Ninjas will hide behind signs to try and squash you and have you face Rocksteady as the end stage boss. Rocksteady is the boss, huh? Gee, just like the last game, he's the first boss. I wonder how much this game will rehash the second game. The second level features one of my most hated parts about the TMNT beat-em-ups. The surfing levels are back, with all the BS to boot. You got ninjas leaping out of the water in large groups, making it hard to dodge them. You got flying ninjas, which are difficult to hit, but at least with Mikey, you can use his special leap to kick them, but in turn that drains your health and easily gets you killed. Thank God for infinite lives. Also, of course, there's electrical balls that keep spawning out of the water, and they are very hard to dodge and attack, and you'll constantly get zapped by them. But then the stage isn't over. Now it's time to jump onto the Foot Clan submarine, with impossible to hit fireball turrets, pop-up turrets that you can destroy, and tons of ninjas. We get introduced to some new Foot Clan, those being the Cayenne or Teal or whatever ninjas that throw shurikens and daggers and stuff at you, and come out of nowhere with two of them using some type of laser weapon to form a trap that zaps you if you're caught in it. But then we get to the boss at the end. This is Ground Chuck. I never seen this guy before. As it turns out, he's a new character and a part of this game. Also, he later appears in Shredder's Revenge. That's neat. After pissing off the Hindus, we make our way to the Brooklyn Bridge, which is crumbling after Shredder took the entire city of Manhattan. In fact, there are several parts showing how the entirety of Manhattan is breaking away, which is a nice attention to detail. So we move along the fallen bridge straight out of a nursery rhyme, trying to dodge wrecking balls. Oh god, they brought the wrecking balls back. And avoiding pits of doom. We also get introduced to a new enemy type, some kind of rock guys that pack a punch and can easily knock you across the screen, especially if you try to jump attack them. They're very annoying. Bebop himself will appear in his truck to run you over and toss explosives. But the Foot Clan gets some new weapons too. They brought ninjas with those cartoon weight tons and some spears. But also they can toss those wrecking balls. Gotta hate these throwing enemies. In numbers, they become a severe nuisance. Then, the ninjas introduced white ones with swords, and we fight a mini-boss partway into this level. You remember Slash, right? The savage-looking TMNT guy? Like if Leonardo did fentanyl for a living. He's not that hard in comparison to TMNT 4 though. But after beating him, the stage goes on. Yep, he was just a halfway there boss. We get more ninjas throwing stars and boomerangs now? They're just the throwing ninjas. Let's just call them throwing ninjas for the ease of understanding going forward. The stage just keeps going on and going on and going on with more of those rock guys. Oh boy, howdy, do I love these rock guys that are seriously pissing me off at this point. After a long struggle, I got to the final boss of this level, Bebop, who has a freaking mini wrecking ball on his head. Okay, now the developers are trolling. You cannot jump attack him, and he cheap shots you every step of the way. It's a long time consuming fight of non-stop deaths and trying to land a single hit on him before I was able to win. Thank God for infinite lives. We then take the TMNT blimp, yeah, remember that from the show, to the streets of Manhattan, watching as the roads break away from the sidewalk. Not gonna lie, this left me uneasy as to what may come next. I figured they were going to start introducing a bunch of BS platforming mechanics into this beat 'em up to really milk your quarters. And yes, this is a home console port of an arcade game, but still, they tend to keep the arcade BS mechanics intact when porting games over to a console, which I'll never forgive them for and count it as a con in the score at the end. Anyways, we fight the usual ninjas with manholes to fall in, and for ninjas to jump out and toss those manhole covers. Have you ever tried to move a manhole cover? Those things are not light. Good God, that's an emergency room visit. No, that's a morgue destination trip if you ever got whacked by one of those things. Those things are freaking flying death saucers. Wrecking balls once again appear. Oh, lovely. I just love these things. If you've seen my other TMNT reviews, you know just how much I freaking love these freaking things. Eventually moving towards the park area, we fight rock guys and throwing ninjas galore. Oh, and the white ninjas now have whips. Lovely. With those throwing guys using barrel drums now to capture you in. Oh, that's very fun. Oh, the level isn't over yet? Yep. Folks, as we now move into the subway station, things continue to go on forward. This level just drags on forever, which is going to be a common trend for the rest of this entire playthrough. Yeah, they really padded out this game. So you now walk into the subway station, with Foot Clan members arriving by train to swarm you, and the game chugs. Once there's more than 2 ninjas on screen, the game just slows down to a crawl. What is this, a Bethesda game for the Nintendo Entertainment System? But eventually you do get to fight a boss, who is Dirtbag, another original character made for this game, and would later appear in Shredder's Revenge. He's not that difficult, as I just spammed Raph's special attack constantly till he was dead.
Roughfire wins. Bullshit victory.
Oh, for crying out loud. Of course, the next level is a frickin' sewer. Why does every video game need a frickin' sewer? You know what? I'm not even going to do a sewer count anymore. I've skipped it in quite a few videos. I'd rather just get this level over with, as there's not much to say. You just fight the same old Foot Clan members till you get near the end, with a new enemy, some sort of robot flying bug that likes to kamikaze into you. They're hard to hit, and I was actually ready to stop playing the game at this point. The frustration of all these non-stop hordes of enemies drags on for too long. All these BS cheap shotting enemies like the rock guys, throwing ninjas, and robots. Then, in a sewer level, on top of all of it, he was just asking for a rage quit right about now. Oh, goody gumdrops, they brought back the ankle biter bots too. Just great. Thankfully though, we move on to a boss who's just a foot and a giant ankle biter. That's pretty easy to defeat. Wait, this isn't the end of the level? After more agony, we make it to the actual final boss of this level. Finally! Who is Leatherhead? Of course it is. New York City alligators in the sewers? Right? Right. Well, he's a pain in the behind, till I switched to Raph and just spammed his special attack once more.
Roughfire wins. Bullshit victory.
We're nearing the home stretch, folks. Time to jump into the Technodrome and get to Shredder to save April. Again, because they can't be bothered to make her useful to the 2003 TV series, which is my personal favorite. If there's one thing I don't miss about the past is the non-stop damsels in distress cliche. It's mostly Nintendo who sticks to it these days. Can't expect Shigeru Miyamoto to have any ounce of creativity now. He made Star Fox Zero after all.
Get on with it. Yes, get on with it.
Oh right, we were talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, right? Right. Anyways, you fight through the Technodrome, which introduces a few new enemies. You got stronger robots with laser guns, and those annoying little shocking bots that spawn in via capsules that explode into several little robots that scatter all over the screen. Oh, how lovely. I'm oh so enjoying this level already. You just make your way towards the right, fighting non-stop hordes of enemies till you get to my most favorite part of the game. 3 rock guys spamming rocket launchers non-stop at you, make it impossible to pass, make it impossible to jump attack them, or get near them with a normal attack. This is clearly a classic arcade BS mechanic moment, used to milk quarters left in the home port. But after getting past those annoying little guys, you get another new enemy. More flying drones, which are a pain to hit and move quickly. Oh god, I hate these frickin' flying enemies. Oh wait, what's this? You gotta fight hordes of enemies while trying to dodge moving lasers on a moving treadmill? Okay, the developers are trolling. I can hear the circus music now. I'm so freaking ticked off at this point. This level is going on for too long. Where is the boss?
Bad touch, stranger danger.
Okay, this is nightmare fuel. They made Razor into an SCP, till Rudy 34 decides it wants to help you, like another certain canine SCP wants to.
Stop!
Okay, so he's a total pushover. You won't struggle to fight Razor, which is weird. You'd think since we're nearing the end, the bosses would become something else. But no, Razor goes down much like skyscrapers do in New York City. You wanna know why Razor was a total pushover? Because after you defeat him, you get right to the next boss, Shredder. Yep, a mini boss right before a major boss. Konami was a bit of a masochist, weren't they? What sucks as well is Shredder is a total pansy. He's beaten quicker than the French were by the Germans in World War II. Now that we've saved April and all gathered around her... Uh-oh. I've seen this before on the internet.
Hey, stop! Why? I just don't get it. I always catch you fuckers watching this sick shit. This is sickening.
Go to the church and ask God to forgive you.
For the end game, we must pursue Shredder by taking the classic level lift up to the surface and onto a skyscraper. This lift section goes on for way too long with an easy death fall trap if you're not careful. Don't play as Raph at this point is all I'm going to be saying. Once on top of the building, you will fight non-stop hordes of Foot Clan as they just use everything they've got at this point. Tons of weapon throwers, tons of weapon wielders. Rock guys are also in huge supply, just cause Konami knows I love them oh so much that I must simply have more of them. Then, to rehash the subway train swarm, they have a chopper continuously dropping off more Foot Clan for what felt like forever. These are the parts I'm talking about when I say padding in games sucks. It's one thing that you need to travel long distances to get to your objective and stuff, but to continuously fight non-stop along the way isn't fun. That was one of my main criticisms of Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen, but I get it. Again, arcade BS mechanics. Those machines must have been overflowing with quarters for anyone stupid enough to play the actual cabinet instead of using the home port with cheat codes. As for the boss of this level, it's Toka. Since this game came out at the time of the second movie, yes, this is old, 1991 after all. Good God, I am old too. We got Toka and Razor from the film as bosses. Just like Razor, Toka was a piece of cake. The final level is home to a lot of pain and suffering. As it should be, it's the final level. What is there to say at this point, folks? It's literally everything you faced in this game up to this point. All types of ninjas are here. All the robots are here. The rock guys are back in blue with sonic beam weapons. Eventually, get to one of the bosses. Yes, you heard me right. There's several bosses in the final level.
Good lord!
We get the first of the trio, this being another giant ankle biter bot controlled by a foot. Giant ankle biter bot controlled by a foot? What is this, a sci-fi movie directed by Quentin Tarantino? Whatever. It goes down like the Detroit Lions in every single game, and I can say it because I'm from Michigan, and I would know what it's like to be disappointed in sport teams that represent your state.
You ain't lying.
Afterwards, you just fight more foot, robots, and rock guys till you get to the second boss. Crane finally shows up for the first time outside of their spacecraft we teleported into alongside Shredder at the beginning of the level. He isn't that hard, but he will split into two, using his legs to kick you across the screen and using his torso to fly around and swoop down and...
Drax. Sklouts.
But once defeated, he runs away like an anti-vaxxer does when confronted with facts and logic. Leading us to the finale, fighting Super Shredder, who uses the secret of the ooze to mutate himself into a monster. He will swish around, teleporting around and everything, punching and kicking you like crazy before firing off lasers from his hand, which track you. But otherwise, he isn't a hard boss. In fact, he's kind of a joke, kind of like in TMNT 4. Afterwards, the city of Manhattan is returned to the Earth and the credits roll. There's no celebration, no. You didn't beat the game within a certain time limit, or you didn't beat the game on hard type of middle finger, akin to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4 Turtles in Time or the arcade game. Instead, it's just the credits, and it's over. Honestly, not sure what else to talk about other than the music is good for an NES game, and it was a lot more fun than the second game with the slight improvements introduced into the combat. Out of the 3 TMNT games I've played so far, being 2, 3, and 4, I have to say Turtles in Time is no doubt the best overall of the classic TMNT beat-em-ups. But I still have yet to play and review the Hyperstone Heist for the Sega Genesis to truly find out which Konami TMNT game is the best. At the end of the day, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 The Manhattan Project is a slightly improved beat-em-up from its predecessor, but still falls short due to the limitations of the console and the time it came out in. Yet that doesn't hinder my enjoyment of the game. My real complaints lie in the arcade mechanics like unfair enemy attack patterns, the sheer number of them, and cheap shots there are. Thank God for Infinite Lives cheat. TMNT 3 is an average fun game, well worth checking out, and with the modern emulated version in the TMNT Cowabunga Collection, available on almost every platform today, you can enjoy it along with many other TMNT games. No need to track down the original NES copy. Eventually, I'll finish the Hyperstone Heist and finally cover all the Konami TMNT beat-em-up games. Till then, see y'all later. For the last Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles beat-em-up, we're covering the Hyperstone Heist, which came out exclusively for the Sega Genesis near the same time as Turtles in Time did for the Super Nintendo. This is basically the same game, however, it does have some changes, but otherwise it's basically the same concept with the story, the same combat, the same art, but it does have some alterations, especially due to the limitations of the console, that is the Genesis. Yet, it doesn't hold it back from being a decent fun time. In fact, I was having fun throughout my playthrough, till about the 4th level, where everything turned to hell. So let's finish up this series of TMNT beat-em-ups with the Hyperstone Heist for Sega Genesis, which of course will start out with the plot of the game. The plot is basically Turtles in Time, where Shredder and Crane steal the Statue of Liberty, except this time Shredder doesn't use time travel shenanigans and stuff. Instead, he uses the Hyperstone, some sort of powerful stone that lets him manipulate objects as he takes things and make them into small figurines or something. He then challenges the Turtles to come and face him, probably so he can say, "So I can dine on turtle soup." It's so predictable at this point. I mean, seriously, it's the same old shtick. You played one TMNT game, or watched one single episode of the shows, you know what's to expect at this point. The controls are pretty smooth given it's Turtles in Time but downgraded to work on the Genesis, and 10 does what Sega don't. So yeah, you do have all the usual stuff from TMNT 4. The only thing that was removed, I guess due to technical reasons according to what I can find out, was the screen throw attack. You can no longer toss the Foot Clan at the screen, which is a sad omission as I enjoyed throwing the ninjas at the screen. But other than that, everything else from TMNT 4 is here. In turn meaning, you cannot change your turtle till you lose all your lives and use up a continue, which will start you at the beginning of the level you died on. I'm not a fan of this change and prefer TMNT 3, the Manhattan Project's concept of, if you lose all your health before you respawn, you can switch to a different turtle, and each had their own unique special attack. Alas, it is what it is. To begin, you select your turtle of choice. Obviously, I'm picking Mikey, and we start out in the sewers. Oh, yeah, okay. As the Foot Clan come after you near your home, and we make our way to the streets above. Along the way, we'll encounter all the traditional various Foot Clan members. Orange are the first ones this time, which is strange, as it's usually the purple guys. We also have the blue guys with weapons and those annoying electrocuting robots that like to ensnare you in their lasso and then fry you, coming straight out of the ground. I did not miss these guys during my break before playing this game and making this review. We have explosive barrels down here and pizzas to recover health. Yellowfoot appear as the weapon throwing guys this time, and we make our way to the surface, taking out dozens of foot, using the hydrants as weapon, and getting run over by a trap car, cause you know, the developer had to place the pizza that heal you in front of the car, so you can't just get the health without punishment. The classic power-up appears too, so we can spin attack the foot, which I always felt like these were a little too short to be worthwhile. They last about as long as a Nintendo Virgin in bed with a porn star. We eventually make our way back into the sewers to fight more Foot Clan members before getting to the first boss of the game. Obviously, it's Leatherhead. The best choice for a sewer boss fight, huh? Yeah. Oh well, he's not that tough, and once beaten, he has to diss the turtles one last time before blowing up. And of course, the game already sucks. The second level is a surfing level. This is a mandatory requirement for each game, I guess. Ugh, I hate these things. It's so hard to pinpoint the right spot to hit things, and all the my toe traps don't help. Foot easily swarm you and knock you back with ankle biter bots now flying in the air and swarming you. Jesus Christ. Way to ruin the joy I was having at first, Konami. But things are not over as we move on to the ghost ship. Ooh, spooky, huh? Well, at least the music is kick-ass. Like, holy shit. Why is the Genesis sound chip just rocking it out of nowhere? This is definitely the best tune in the entire game. Purple ninjas make a return finally. Hello, old friends. Ready to get a concussion? I know you are. Just fight the same old foot before encountering the classic rock guys from the other games. They love to charge you from off screen to ensure you get hit and cannot dodge them in time. Plus, they brought back the rocket launchers. Oh goody, just what I need, Konami. Some PTSD after just completing the third game. Wait, the level is still going on? Yeah, apparently level 2 is a gauntlet-long level of 3 sections. Ocean, ghost ship, and a cave. With just more of the same old enemies. We even got the gray ninjas back with their blocking ability. I honestly hate these guys, and it's also hard to hit them, and when several of them swarm you at once, you're trying to hit one of them, and then the other comes out of nowhere and hits you from behind. They are so annoying. Eventually, we get to the end, after 7 minutes basically. Yeesh. To fight Rocksteady. Oh boy, are we just going to have the same old rehash of bosses, guys? I hope not. At least TMNT 3 did give us 2 new ones, and those pathetic giant ankle biter bots with foot controlling them. But yeah, Rocksteady uses a gun and does his invincible charge constantly, making it hard to land a single hit on him. But he is not the most annoying boss. Oh no, we got a few more to go, folks, and they are far worse than Rocksteady could ever hope to be. Moving on to level 3, we enter Shredder's hideout. Along the way, we get the usual foot throwing stuff, using the shields, attacking us with weapon leaps, and the electrocuting bots have to come back. Yay! But also Foot are coming from underground, using the pathway stones like they would with the manhole covers, chucking them at you, and creating holes that you can fall in and lose health. Once inside, the game's difficulty starts to pick up, with AI becoming more aggressive. Traps like TMNT 2's wall floor spikes, and lots of enemies swarming you. Oh, and the ankle biter bots are back in large quantity too. Oh good, I was beginning worried that I wouldn't be able to enjoy this game at all. Thanks, Konami. Hi, ankle biter bots. I oh so missed you. We even got wall statues shooting lasers and pink ninjas coming out of nowhere shooting fire breath at us before running off before we could actually hit them. Yeah, okay game, okay. But then the boss is Tatsu, who is easily the worst boss in the game. He takes forever to defeat while throwing non-stop darts at you, which pushes you back to the other side of the screen, and if you try to jump attack him, it will make you go flying back. If you try to dodge them, they will make you go flying back. Oh, and the entire time too, as you get hit non-stop by these darts getting pushed to the other side of the screen so you can't run up and hit Tatsu, he has his Foot Clan ninjas swarming you. So every time you take them out, they swarm you again. Just non-stop Foot Clan, non-stop darts, and this guy's health is actually the largest out of all the bosses. What the fuck, Konami? But things get worse, folks. We make it to level 4, rightfully called the Gauntlet. Oh god, is it one of the worst levels in these TMNT games by far. Just non-stop enemies, and you have to face every single boss you defeated previously again, all within a single playthrough. If you die, start all over again. So you fight Leatherhead, Rocksteady, and Tatsu before fighting more hordes of enemies, with hordes of enemies in between each boss, with the last boss being, well, I don't know yet. I got killed here and decided, alright, I'm not playing this one legit either. We're using infinite lives after losing to Tatsu, the cheap bitch. Now we're back as Leonardo, and with infinite lives to ensure we can get through this level without going insane in the membrane. Insane in the brain! The final boss is Razar? No. Toka? No. Groundchuck? No. An original character? No. It's Baxter in human form in his flying machine, dropping non-stop hordes of ankle biters, like in TMNT 2 in the sewer. Oh. Yeah, okay Konami, you really don't want me to enjoy this game at all now, do you? Yeah, and trying to hit him is near impossible with him swaying all over the place and moving very fast. This fight took several minutes, just cause you can only land one hit out of every 500 you try on this bastard, along with getting swarmed by the ankle bots. Cause the moment they leap at you, you better hope you can jump away from them, cause they will always hit you and attack you. And if you get locked into a stun, where if one hits you, then the next leaps and attacks you, you can't do anything but let them kill you. This is definitely the second worst boss behind Tatsu. Tatsu is still the worst overall. Finally, after taking forever, like a trip to the DMV or Secretary of State, depending on where you live, I guess, we make it to the Technodrome. Here, it's everything we faced up to this point. All the Foot Clan members appear, all the robots appear, the rock guys are back, traps are everywhere. It's just another gauntlet of non-stop enemies before we get to the end. Even those annoying little capsule bots just had to come back. Eventually, the second to last boss shows up, with it being Crane. I mean, who else would the second to last boss be in a TMNT game at this point? Casey Jones? Bitch, please. The level continues on with a lift sing, because the Genesis does not have that one chip that makes the Super Nintendo allow for the warping effect. The way the lift works here is very trippy, and I honestly felt a bit sick for some reason partway through this part of the game, which rarely ever happened in my life playing video games. After we get off the lift, we face Shredder in his Super Shredder state. No more enemies, just straight to Shredder. Okay, well, I guess thanks Konami for not going so balls deep inside my ass for once. Next time, could you use just a little bit more lube? Shredder does everything again with fire, lasers, and burning, so you can't touch him. And once again, Shredder's easily the weakest boss in the entire game. Shouldn't the last boss be the strongest? Whatever. Once defeated, the statue comes back with the game mocking you for not beating it on the hardest difficulty for the best ending, with Splinter even looking at you like, ha, sucks to be you right now, bitch. Okay game, fuck you. At the end of the day, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles The Hyperstone Heist was a decent experience, with some drawbacks like the more limited combat and difficulty spikes, especially with the 4th level, the gauntlet clearly being a form of padding due to the more limited space on a Genesis cartridge to give the game some sort of more artificial value. I honestly would have enjoyed this game more if that level was just scrapped instead. But also, the inability to switch between turtles when you die was definitely a disappointment, and the reuse of assets from TMNT 4 Turtles in Time also helped create this more of been there done that feeling for me, as I expected something different given it's a different console, plus it's not a numbered sequel akin to TMNT 2 the arcade game and TMNT the Manhattan Project, where you do expect some sameness. Either way, it was a decent fun time, and I do recommend TMNT The Hyperstone Heist for the Sega Genesis. It's not the worst TMNT game I've played, but it's also not the best. Anyways, that's it for this video. See you all later.
Ah!